First of all, welcome everybody. My name is John Mayer. I'm the Executive Director of CALI, the Center for Computer Assisted Legal Instruction. I'm not your presenter. I'm here to set some context and to introduce Sarah Smith, who will be your presenter. Here's my slide for Sarah. I don't have a picture of Sarah, so I had to grab the cartoon image that we have on our website. So Sarah is our Assistant Director of Curriculum Development and very capable for this task, and I hope this works out well for you. So we're gonna be talking about CALI Author, and it's one of a collection of software tools that CALI has produced or that uses internally. CALI Author for making lessons. We have QuizWrite for making quizzes. We have a website at lawbooks.cali.org where you can actually author casebooks. And we've written a piece of software called A to J Author that legal aid attorneys and courts use to automate court forms, right? So all this is the big picture, to go all meta on you, is about agency. And it's the second and third definitions from Merriam-Webster that I want to call attention to. The capacity or condition of exerting power, or a person or thing through which power is exerted or an end is achieved. Instrumentality. We want to give agency to students. They get to choose the lessons they want to run. The ebooks come in multiple formats. So if they read by paper or read by PDF, that's fine with us. We even provide them with the Microsoft Word versions if they want to annotate or take notes. For faculty, the agency is that you can assign or suggest CALI lessons. You can write your own, and you're going to learn about how to do some of that today. There's no worry licensing for our casebooks, and we give you the Word version so that if you wanted to annotate or edit the books before distributing to your students, you can. But the really big picture is the agency that comes in for your institutions. You can build, whoopsie daisy, backed up. You can build entire courses around these CALI materials. You can adopt them as is with our worry-free licensing and remix and republish. And what we're talking about today, we will provide you with tools and training and support to accomplish this at scale, which is the whole point of online computerized instructions, at least one of the points of that, right? So you're going to learn today about CALI Author, a tool that's been in development for well over a decade, but it's had a lot of loving care over the years. This is what it looks like to the student, but you're going to be spending some time in the authoring environment, which is an entirely web-based environment. And it has a lot of features and functions and capability. I put it up against almost anything I've seen out there, even tools that I've seen that cost well over $1,000. And so you're not gonna become experts in the 30 minutes today, but you're going to get a taste of what those things and what it can do. The last point that I want to make before handing this over to Sarah is that teaching is a performance. And so, don't think of this as just the rote dumping of data and information into students' head. You can, with these tools, get quite creative. And I give you permission for that. Be creative in what you learn and how you do that. So without much ado, let's turn this over to Sarah and let her take it from here.
Right. Thanks, John. Okay. All right. As John mentioned, I'm Sarah Smith, the Assistant Director of Curriculum Development at CALI, and I'm just going to go ahead and jump right in because we have a lot to cover and not a lot of time. But rest assured that there will be future sessions. As John mentioned, this is just the first in a series of CALI Author training and discussion sessions. And so the intention today is I'm going to introduce you to CALI lessons and Lessonlink generally. I'm going to give a demo of how to copy and edit a CALI lesson using CALI Author, and then how to assign that lesson using Lessonlink so you can get access to the student grades and the analytics for the lesson that you just edited and made your own. So we're really today showing kind of like the start to finish process with some of the details in the middle left out. We will be going into more detail and focusing in and narrowing in on some of those other details in future sessions. And so we're always open to hearing about what you want to talk about, particularly for future sessions as well. All right, so first, CALI lessons. What are they? For those of you who don't know, they are online interactive legal tutorials on narrow topics of law. As John mentioned, you can use them as they were written by the authors. You can create your own brand new lessons, or you can take any one of the 1,200 plus lessons in our CALI library and edit it to make it your own. Why would you use CALI lessons in the first place? Well, to reinforce the material, to serve as a supplement, or as asynchronous or an in-class tool. And of course, because you get access to the analytics and the grades through Lessonlink, you can use it to assess student performance. Some general features of CALI lessons authored by law faculty and law librarians. They are peer-reviewed. We give detailed feedback to answers, so not just a yes, you're wrong, yes, you're right, or no, you're wrong. It's a yes, because, and no, because. A number of our lessons have detailed branching, so depending on how you answer the question, it might take you on a different path through the lesson. We have a variety of question types, and the runtime is on average about 25 to 30 minutes per lesson. Again, today we're really going to be focusing on the copying and the editing aspect of existing CALI lessons. We will discuss creating your own brand new lesson and really what goes into that in a future training session. All right, so lesson topics. We have over 1,200 lessons across 40 different subject matter areas. We break those down into first year and upper level topics. You can see the topics on the screen right now. I also want to point out that that includes 87 legal research lessons. We have primary and secondary legal research lessons in almost every state. And we also have a new category of CALI lessons called Law School Success Lessons that are really applicable to any class. We have over 45 of those lessons authored by the academic success community, and those really cover skills that are necessary to succeed at learning the law. All right, I mentioned before the copying and the editing. John had mentioned that CALI Author has been through a lot. The exciting news is that the new version of CALI Author is web-based. No software download required anymore. It is available directly through your CALI account. It's now Windows and Mac compatible, and just generally more intuitive, more streamlined, more collaboration friendly with other authors. So the possibilities, when we say you can take any one of the CALI lessons in our library, what can you do with that? Well, anything you want, really. You can expand on the content. You can remove content. You can reorder the content. You can add media like videos and images. You can make it more relevant to your class discussions by referencing class discussions in the material. You can add your own new questions. You can create new hypotheticals. You can make it more current by adding new cases that have come down, or current events, or reflection exercises. You can add your own commentary. Really, it's completely endless, the possibilities with what you can do with one of the CALI lessons, because we give you the software and you're able to do that. So Lessonlink, very generally, and we're going to get into all of this again, actually on the website itself. If you create a unique URL for any one of the CALI lessons, and this includes the ones that you edit or create yourself, and then the student runs the lesson through that unique URL, you get access to the student grades and more detailed analytics on the lesson. And so, again, that's a really good way to, assess progress of your students and identify areas of confusion within the materials that you're assigning. That being said, I'm going to jump over to the website now and actually show you how to do this. I'm going to be covering a lot, as I mentioned before, but don't worry, the hope is that you walk away with enough information so you can start the process tomorrow and know what to ask us either now or in future training sessions. All right. Okay, so everybody should be able to now see the homepage for the CALI.org homepage. From there, you want to make sure that you are logged in. If you see your name at the top, you're logged in. If not, you'll need to do that before accessing CALI Author. As a quick aside, if you want to see, if you want to locate the lessons on the CALI website, you would select the lessons dropdown. I'll go ahead and choose Browse All Lessons. there are those lesson topics that I mentioned before. I'll go ahead and select contracts just for the sake of this example. Here are the lessons that we have in the area of contracts. Probably a better way, though, to evaluate what lessons we have in a particular area is to access the subject matter outline for a particular topic. So that's available on the landing page for any one of the topics. So here is just an example of what a contracts outline might look like with the lessons that we have available linked throughout. And you can access all of the subject outlines that we have by, again, selecting that lessons dropdown and selecting subject outlines. And there's a list of all the lesson subject outlines that we have. All right, so I'm going to jump into CALI Author now. Once you're logged in, select CALI Dashboard and choose CALI Author. That will take you to the home page for the CALI Author program. You have three main options from that homepage. That's My Lessons. Those are the things that you're already working on, things that you've started to edit, lessons that you've created, lessons that have been shared with you. Here's where you would write a new lesson. If you want to go ahead and edit a lesson from one of the lessons in the CALI library, you would select CALI Lessons first. All right, upon doing so, it will open up a list of all 1,200 plus CALI lessons that are available for you to edit. For the sake of this example, I'm going to pretend like I actually know which lesson I would like to work with. So let's say that I really like the lesson on counter arguments, but I need to make some changes before I want to assign it to my students. And that's the whole point of this, right? It might be good, but you might need to make some changes before you actually feel like assigning it for your class. So I went ahead and I used the filter feature in the upper right to narrow the options. Here's the lesson that I want to work with, the counter argument, a key but often overlooked part of legal reasoning. If I just want to view the lesson, I can select this little eyeball icon. But if I actually want to work with the lesson, I'm going to select Copy Lesson to My Library under Manage. When I do that, it opens up my own copy of the lesson that I can do whatever I want with. This has absolutely no effect on the version that's on the website right now. This is my copy and my copy alone until I decide to share it with somebody. So first, real quick, just a lay of the land. On the left-hand side is the table of contents. Those are the pages that appear in the main path of the lesson. On the right is where you would actually work with that page. Notice that when I select one of the pages from the table of contents, it opens on the right, and then I can work with that page. By default, it opens to the authoring tab. That's where I get to make my changes. I can also select the student tab to see what it looks like for the students. I find it really helpful to make changes in the authoring tab and then jump over to the student tab to see if my intentions actually came to fruition, right? Did it take effect as how I expected? All right, then there's this faculty tab, and that's a text-only version of the content that's on that page. And it creates really helpful links too. But you'll primarily be working within that authoring tab in order to make your changes. All right, so on any page, there are going to be editable fields. Depending on the page type, that will determine which kinds of fields there are that are available to edit. In any instance, you'll be able to adjust the name of the page and then this question field. Whether or not there's a question involved, the introductory text or the question text is called a question. So here, let's say I want to add my own text. Sarah's new text here. I can do that. I can use the toolbar at the top, just like I would a toolbar on, for instance, a Word document. I'm going to make that bold. Let's say that I really just don't like the second paragraph. I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of it. All right, so you can see that I can modify the content on this page. This is just a text page, so I'm just modifying that text. Okay, there you go. There's the student page. The changes have already taken effect. I mentioned before that the fields that are available to edit will depend on the page type. This is just a text page, so it's really just some text, but I'm going to jump over to a question page and show you an example of that. So here is a multiple choice page. Here is the question that's being presented. Sometimes it includes introductory text as well. If I scroll down, I will see additional fields that are available to edit. Here, there are three options that are presented to the student, A, B, and C. You can see that A is a wrong answer, B is the correct answer, and C is a wrong answer. And that's how you would indicate to the system which one is a right or wrong answer. There's a drop down. Here is the option A, option B, and option C. And here's the feedback for option A, the feedback for option B, and the feedback for option C. If I want to include an additional option, I would just adjust using this drop-down feature. Let's say I want to add a fourth option. Now I have the ability to create an additional option. I'm going to make this one wrong as well. New option, and here is my feedback. Now you might notice that there are some additional options on this page, such as branching destination. I'm not going to get into branching today. Again, just there's the opportunity to direct students based on their individual answer choices. So for instance, I can send all the wrong answers down one path and just the right answer down another path. I might want to reinforce some material, give the students a second shot at learning the material, those who select the wrong answers. We will do a separate session entirely on branching, and you're always welcome to reach out if you are trying to take on some branching in one of your lessons. This lesson doesn't have any branching, so we won't be working with it right now. We won't be creating any. All right, so that's the example of a multiple choice question and how you might modify the options, both the number and the text on the page. Here is a different question type. This is a choose all that apply question. Here, here again, you can adjust the options. Let's say I want a fifth option. Here's my fifth option. And then if I were wanting that option to be one of the correct answers, I would go ahead and select it. That tells the system the student needs to check that option as well in order to get a right answer. Here, there's only one set of feedback and right feedback and one set of wrong feedback. That means that the student needs to select all three right answers and none of the wrong answers in order to get this question correct. All right. So that's just two examples, or three, a text page and two different questions about modifying content on the page. Let's say that I really just don't like this placement within the analysis page. I don't like it. I want to get rid of it. I can go ahead and remove a page in its entirety. I'm going to select the page from the table of contents on the left and then select delete page. It will tell me which pages are navigating to that page, give me a little bit of a heads up, and it will tell me how it will automatically adjust the navigation and redirect. So I'm going to go ahead and select yes, I would like to delete it. Notice that it did adjust the navigation for me. So the page that came after the page I deleted is now the next page. Let's say that I want to add new pages. In this instance, I'm going to pretend like I want to add a text page. I'm going to choose the page that I want to precede my new page. So I'm going to choose placement after the analysis practice because I want my new page to come after that page. All right, select add page. That will pull up a list of all the available page types. I will not go into each one of these individually right now. That will also be saved for a future session. Note too that we do have an authoring and editing guide that contains a lot of this, a lot of these instructions and a lot more details about these page types. All right, so let's say I want to create a text page. So I don't want a question, I just want a little bit more text. Notice that the page name automatically is the continuation of the page before it. I am going to, for just the sake of identification, name this new page 1. I'd like to add another page. The next page, I'd like to make it a multiple choice question. It automatically names it new page 2 because it's a continuation of the previous page. And I'd like to add one more page, and this is just for the purposes of the demonstration for later. I'm going to do text video. All right, so we have 3 new pages. Now let's say after this, and again, I'm trying to just kind of very briefly go over some of the most common editing that you might be wanting to do within a lesson. There is there's more, but I think we're trying to give just a sense as to what can be done and how easily it can be done in a lesson. So let's say now I want to reorder these. I made new page 1, new page 2, and new page 3, but really what I wanted to do is new page 2, new page 1, new page 3. So I really need to switch the order of new page 1 and new page 2. The way that you want to do that is you need to adjust the navigation. At the bottom of each page is this navigation section, and that tells you which page comes after the page that you're on. So right now, if I want new page 2 to come before new page 1, I'll have to go to the page prior to new page 1 and change the navigation. So I'm going to select question or new page 2 as the next page. Notice now that it's kicked out new page 1 because I don't have anything navigating to that page. And then I will go to new page 2, adjust the navigation to go to new page 1. And now new page 3 is kicked out because nothing's navigating to it. And then I'll go to new page 1 and adjust the navigation so that it navigates to new page 3. All right. So that's how you reorder pages. So in very short order, we've discussed modifying the content on a page. We've discussed removing pages, adding pages, and reordering pages. Now, let's say we want to work with entire sections. So if we want to remove or add a new section, what we need to do is go to the table of contents. All right, so the table of contents, let's say I really don't like this types of counter argument section. I just want to get rid of the entire thing. I've selected table of contents from the left. It'll open up a list on the right of all the different section headings in this lesson. I'm going to select types of counter arguments. I'm going to just backspace until that bullet point is gone. And then I'm going to go ahead and select update table of contents. That section is now gone. The pages are still available to work with. And you'll notice in the alphabetical index that the pages are still available. So if you accidentally do that, it's not a big deal. You just need to recreate the section or place those pages where you would like to within the main structure of the lesson. All right, now let's say I want to create a new section and I want to move new page 1, new page 2. Oh, looks like I messed up the navigation, but that's okay. For the purposes of this, it really doesn't matter. Actually, here. This is what we'll do. We'll fix that real quick. Okay. There we go. In this instance, I would like to move new page 2, new page 1, and new page 3 into an entirely new section. I'm going to go ahead and create a new section by putting my cursor at the end of the previous section, pressing enter, creating a new section, going to go ahead and select that, choose this link icon at the top, and then I'm going to choose other from the protocol, and then I will type in the name of the exact name of the page that I want to start the section. So that would be new page 2. Now I'm going to select update table of contents. Notice that it created the section, but it didn't actually move the pages. And that's because this page is still navigating to new page 2. So what I want to do is I want to indicate to the program that I want this placement after the analysis page to be the last page in the section. So I'm going to go ahead and select contents to indicate that that's the end of the section. It will now break its link with new page 2, and that change will take effect. So see, now we have a new section, new page 2, new page 1, and new page 3. Okay, so very quickly now, I'm going to show you how to work with a little bit of the media. Let's say on page 1, I really want to add an image of a judge. I think that would be neat. I'm going to go ahead and put my cursor in the text field where I want to include the image. I'm going to select this little image icon from the toolbar at the top. I'm going to choose upload, and then I will choose the file from my computer, send it to the server. I will add alt text if I was actually creating the lesson, but I'll skip that for now for the sake of time. Select OK. Okay, now we've added an image, and go ahead and jump over to the student view to see. All right, judge looks good. If I were to want to add a video, as you recall, I created a text with video page earlier. I'm going to jump to the editing field. What you want to do is you want to get that video embed code from YouTube. So you'll need a video on YouTube right now. I'm going to go ahead and get that embed code from there, copy it, put it in the video embed field, leave the other field empty. That should do it. There we go. Now we have a video of John talking about experiential learning in the lesson. I'll go ahead and delete that text so it's centered. All right, so I've added a video now. And then the last two things that I really want to show you in the authoring system itself is how to create a pop-up. And, or actually, maybe I'll just show you an instance of a pop-up and in a future session talk about it, just so we have a little bit more time to talk about Lessonlink. So pop-ups give you the opportunity to include additional text within the lesson, but without leaving the page. So here, that's not a pop-up. 1 second. All right, so here's an example of a pop-up. So on this page, the author wanted to define what a cause of action is. And so that's a pop-up page. Here is another instance where we want to define relief. So those are pop-up pages. And really all you have to do is create a pop-up and then include that as a link in the text. We'll cover that in a future section. Right now, what I want to show you is how to assign this lesson once you're done making all of the changes. All right, so I have now decided that I'm done making all these changes to the lesson. I'm going to go ahead and choose Save and Exit to Lessons Home. Now this lesson will appear in my lessons list. There I am. I'm the owner of this lesson. If I want to continue to make edits, I would select this little edit lesson icon. If I want to just view it, I could do that. I can add collaborators. I can pass off editing access to somebody else, or I can make someone a reader. But what I want to do right now is I want to publish the lesson. So I'm going to choose this little arrow that's taking off. All right. The lesson is now published. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to now jump over to Lessonlink. And again, what I want to do is I want to assign this lesson that I just edited to my students, and I want them to run the lesson through a Lessonlink so that I can get access to the grades. In order to do that, I would go to CALI dashboard again, choose Lessonlink. I'm going to create a Lessonlink. All right, I'm just going to call this Training Today as my course name. I'm going to, from the select a topic field, I'm going to scroll all the way down past these other topics and go to your CALI library resources, because that is the title that contains the lessons that you've edited or created yourself. All right. Counter argument. I'm just going to do a quick, all right, the counter argument, a key but often overlooked part of legal reasoning. That's the lesson that I just edited. I'm going to select that from the list, and I'm going to choose create lesson links. Now what I want to do is I would give my students this link, right? So from your Lessonlink administration page, it will contain all of the lessons that have been assigned for that course. Again, the course was Training Today. It's a fall 2023 course. There's the lesson that's been assigned. There's the URL that I need to provide the students. The students run the lesson, and then you get the analytics. And I'll show you what that looks like. So I'm going to go back to my Lessonlink homepage. And what I did is prior to this, let's fast forward and pretend that students have run the lesson. I had my colleagues run this lesson prior to today, so we'd have some data to work with. So in this instance, here's the name of the course. Here's the lesson that was assigned, the grades. Here's all the students that ran the lesson. In other words, my colleagues. Here is the grade they all received, the number that they answered, the number that they got correct out of the total questions that are available. Notice that I'm listed twice. That's because the grades will list every single run that a student attempts. So if the student runs a lesson 5 times, you're going to get 5 different grades for that student. That differs from the lesson analytics, which just takes into account the student's first attempt at a question, no matter how many times they've run the lesson. So for instance, if they run the lesson once and they answer questions 1 through 10 out of 20, and then they run it again and they start at number 1 again and run through 20, it'll take 1 through 10 from their first run and 11 through 20 from their second run. So I'm going to jump over to the analytics. And just a note, you can download the grades as an Excel file as well. All right, so the lesson analytics, the top looks a little bit like the grades, but again, it just takes into account that first attempt at a question, regardless of the number of runs. At the top, you can see all the student scores. So for instance, Jennifer got 71%. And then, the number right, the number wrong out of the total available. If we scroll down, we see the breakdown by question. So here you can see all the questions that are available in the lesson. 86% of students got this question correct. 71% of students got this question correct. We can drill down even further though and include response breakdown. So I'll select that option, and now it shows the breakdown of right and wrong answers within a particular question. So in other words, 5 students selected B to get this question correct. 2 students selected C to get it incorrect. So this really gives you insight as to where are students getting confused, right? If everybody's selecting B and getting it wrong, well, there might be an opportunity to discuss that material with students. The last thing I want to show you is list students for each response. Once you do that, you actually get to see the breakdown of how each student responded to every single question. So again, an opportunity to see, where a particular student might be struggling, or where students, in general are struggling with the material, and give you that opportunity for follow-up. So I know that was a lot that I just threw at you, but again, I just wanted to show you how easy it is to take one of our lessons, make the edits that you need to make, assign it to students, the students run the lesson, and then you get all the grades and all the analytics and everything that comes along with it. In future sessions, go ahead and stop sharing. In future sessions, we will be going into more depth, for instance, on branching, on adjusting that table of contents. We can go into more depth on media and pop-ups, and then additional faculty tools that are available. There's a lot in CALI Author that I didn't get to cover today, but hopefully you have enough to take it and run with it, or at least get started and know what you would like to discuss further, either by direct outreach to myself or to anybody else. And I will put up a contact screen. Please reach out to us with any questions, and we will be in touch with information about follow-up training sessions.